Hey everyone, so it's Hearth and welcome back to my channel. On today's video we're going to be doing another altar setup. We're going to be dismantling my old altar and replacing it with my Imbolc altar. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, I actually haven't had my Yule altar up for a while now. After New Year, I was just done with it. I just didn't want it anymore. It didn't feel right. And I actually set up two separate manifestation altars, one of which you will see in this video because that's what we're going to be dismantling. And I just completely didn't film it because I don't film all of what I do. I don't even film a fraction of my magical practice to put on here. So I apologize if you did want to see those altar setups, but I just didn't feel like filming them, so I just didn't. So we're actually not dismantling my Yule altar, we're dismantling a completely different altar and setting up my Imbolc altar. Now, Imbolc is a really underrated time of year. I personally really like it because it is the festival for my deity Brigid, and so I really enjoy setting up my Imbolc altar, especially because at the moment I don't have my Brigid altar set up because I can't actually get to it, but I'm really hoping that I will be able to set that up in time for Imbolc because it would be lovely to have that set up again. It has been way too long since I managed to get into that corner just over there so that I can actually set it up. So it's really nice being able to put a little bit of Brigid on my Imbolc altar in my main room, in my living area, so that I can sit and be around that energy anytime that I want to, which turns out to be quite a lot because it's freezing in England right now, and the middle room is the only room in my house that's actually warm. So this altar is a little bit different than a traditional Imbolc altar. Because I've been working with my manifestation altars a lot recently, I haven't wanted to just do an Imbolc altar. I wanted to still have an aspect of my goal, of my manifestation outcome for the month, which is all about fresh starts, new beginnings, cleansing out the old, bringing in the new. That's really what I'm aiming for this season. And I really wanted to combine the two onto an Imbolc altar, and I think it really works. There's something about those two intentions that work really well together. So this isn't necessarily a dedicated Imbolc altar, but there's definitely aspects of that going into it. Now, I did this video slightly differently than I usually would, and I actually included my technique for picking out the oracle cards that I'm going to be using in my altar. So that is what we're going to start off with before we eventually get on to setting up the altar. But when I do, any music that I use is going to be listed in the description box. But please remember that the music that I use is free for commercial use music, so it's probably not going to be available on YouTube for you to listen to, but if it is, I will link it down in the description box as well. And with that all being said, let's go and pick out the cards for this altar because I really wanted to put some beautiful imagery on. And I had so many decks to choose from that it took me ages to pick out the cards, and hopefully I will have sped up this footage so that you don't have to sit through all 35 minutes of me going through my cards. Before we get started dismantling and setting up my Imbolc altar, I need to go through some of my card decks. Over the past few months, I've really enjoyed adding oracle cards and tarot cards onto my altars, as I find them a really beautiful way to add visual representation into that space. And it also allows me to use decks in a different way if I don't read from them very frequently. Some decks I will read from a lot, such as this deck down here, but there are others, such as the Saints and Mystics or the Mists of Avalon, that I don't read from that often, and so I really like being able to use these cards in a different way, so they aren't just sitting on a shelf forever. So because this altar isn't going to be solely one thing, it's not just going to be about Imbolc, it's also going to be about my own intentions and goals for the month, I need to find cards that are going to be appropriate for that. So my goals this month are about bringing in new things, new opportunities, new beginnings. It's the start of a new year, I really want to bring those things in. So I need to find cards in these decks that relate not only to the Imbolc season, but also with new beginnings and new opportunities. So we're going to be rifling through some of these decks to see if we can find some cards that really match up with what I want to manifest. I will do my best to list the cards that I have here in the description box, so if you do see a particular deck that you really like, you will be able to find out what it is if I don't mention it, because I'm probably going to forget to mention it. But let's start with the Mists of Avalon deck. This is one of my favorite oracle card decks. It's so beautiful, but I don't really use it that often when it comes to readings. So this deck focuses on the Arthurian legends and the aspects of those stories. So we have the two dragons, the red and the white dragon, we have the Holy Grail, we have Excalibur and Brigid, which I think I'm going to keep to one side because Imbolc is Brigid's season, so I'm going to keep this one to one side. I'm really looking for something that fits in with the goal of bringing new things. So this one could be really good, the White Spring. It's an area in Glastonbury that's used to represent healing and growth and cleansing away unwanted energies. So this one could be really good, so I'll keep this one to one side as well. This one could be good as well because this is all about new beginnings, perspective, and awakenings. So I might keep this one to one side as well. So that's all of those cards. I have 3 out of this deck that I'm going to keep to one side. And then I'll essentially work my way through them. Any cards that I'm not going to use, I will just put back into the decks again. But it just gives me the chance to cross-reference between different decks so that I can find exactly what it is that I want to work with. This is a really, really cute deck. I really like this one. This is more like daily draw cards. So which way am I going? This way. So each one has like a little bit of information on it and the illustrations are so cute. I really love these. And I use these a lot in altars because they're just so beautiful. This one I really like. It says the old paths, walk in unknown territory to see from a new perspective. I think this one's really beautiful, so I'm going to keep this one to one side. And then I love these two. These are the two that I had on the altar a few days ago, so I really love these and I might end up putting these on again. This one is Forest Sister, the moon shines brightest after the storm, and the Green Man, embrace your wildness. I like both of these, so I'm going to keep these to the side as well. We then have 2 really, really big decks. I like using these, particularly this one for working readings. So I really like doing readings with these. So I'm always a bit cautious to use them on altars because I always think, wait, what if I need to do a reading and one of my cards is sat on an altar? But I'm going to go through them anyway, just in case, because who knows, I might find something that I really like, that I really want to use, but I don't know. But these are really pretty. Anyone who knows my love for the Wild Unknown Tarot will probably like these as well. They're just really, really sweet. This one's interesting to me because my goal is all about transformation and butterflies are all about transformation. So I might keep this one to one side as well because it really represents what I want to achieve. So yeah, out of this deck, I think it's just the butterfly that I'm going to keep and then we'll whittle it down from there. This one is another Kim Kranz deck. So the last one was Kim Kranz, this one is Kim Kranz. This is the Archetypes Oracle. This one's really interesting because the cards are round, which makes them kind of difficult to shuffle and kind of difficult to read from, and honestly just a little bit difficult. They're just a bit too big, so I find that I don't read from them that much, but they are really, really pretty. And the other problem with these is they're really hard to get to stand up because they're all round and they kind of stick together. I love the artwork, I just find the shape of them really difficult to deal with. If you want any walkthroughs for any of these, like full walkthroughs, please let me know because I can do the walkthroughs now that I have the worktop in place. Gut feeling, don't think that any of these are gonna work for what I'm after. I don't know what it is, there's just something about this deck that I'm just not vibing with today. And I don't really know why. But we'll go through them anyway and we'll see. Yeah, this one I'm not vibing with today, so we're going to put this one to one side, and I'll probably use it again in the future, but today, just not feeling it for whatever reason. This one I really like. I'm not sure whether it fits the season though. This is from the Oracle of the Pagan Spirit. I love working with Keranos, but because it's a very Brigid heavy festival, I'm not sure whether this one works. I'm gonna go with no, but this one will definitely make an appearance in the future, definitely. See, we also have Brigid here, or this is technically Bridie, but either way, Brigid. But I think, looking at like the 2 cards, this one and this one, I think I might go for this one. I think I might go for this one because she really personifies the symbols of Brigid at this time. So we have like the Brigid cross, we have the spirals, we have the bright oranges and golds, we have the fiery red hair, which I always see Brigid as having. So I think I'm going to go with this one over this one, but this one is still a really beautiful card. And then the last deck that we're going through is this one. This is the Herbarium deck from the book Herbarium. I got the box set for Christmas, so I got the special deck with the bag. This actually has 2 decks in it, but there's only one I'm going to be focusing on today, if I can get them out. So this is actually a separate deck. This is the Crystallarium deck, this little one, but this isn't one I'm really interested in looking at right now. But this is the one that I'm after. So these cards are beautiful, and I really like working with herbal energies, and each one of these is a different plant. Now, some of these I don't really vibe with because I don't know the plant, because I've never seen it before, I've never interacted with it before, it doesn't grow in England, or I don't have access to it. So some of these I'm definitely just going to skip over, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to find something, anything that could work, though I am really happy with the other cards that I've already found. I always like this card in theory, but the eyes, does anyone else find them creepy? There's just something weird about it. I'm not so keen on the eyes. They kind of weird me out. This one's really cute. All about mending and healing. Now this one could be good because it's all about starting fresh, so I'm going to keep this one to one side. So, looking at the cards that I've set aside, we have a few that I really like. So I think the Brigid one is a definite. I think this one is perfect for what I need, so definitely this one. This is really difficult. Oh dear. So definitely the Brigid card, definitely. I really like the White Heart. Really, I don't think this one. I think this one, no. Put that over there, that's a no. I think Start Fresh is a no as well. I think this one's a no. Actually, I will put you back in your deck. There we go. So I think the White Heart, definitely. And then I think I might go for one of these. I love the butterfly, all about transformation, but I do read from this deck quite a lot, and if I want to read from it, I can't because one of the cards is here. So I think it's a no for this one, and I think we need to find one of these. Okay, so that's the decision made for me. I'm going to set all of these cards back in their boxes again and take them all downstairs again because I had to ferry them all the way up the stairs to bring them here. And then let's get started actually setting up the space. So I picked out all of these stones a couple of nights ago for the purpose of putting them on this altar, and then the minute I put them on the altar I just realised that they don't fit at all. There's just something about them that just doesn't fit with what I'm going for. So this was a selection of Rainbow Moonstone, Bloodstone, Amethyst, Peach Moonstone, and some other random assortment of crystals. And I've just realised after putting them down that it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So we're going to completely do a 180 and change up all of the crystals and the wand and go from there. And this is just to remind everyone that altars do not go perfectly the first time. Sometimes you have to make them and then dismantle them and then remake them again just to get what you're after. So I'm going to put all of these away, and then we're going to just find new stones that actually fit with what I want to do. So this is my crystal chalice. And this is where I keep all of my pendulums that I am not currently working with. They stay in here. And I also have a whole bunch of crystals, and we're going to go through this and we're going to see what we find that we think is going to be good. Like, I think a good bit of heat treated amethyst. I know some people hate working with it, but I kind of like it. And then I have some smoky citrine. I think these are going to be really good. Oh no, it's completely changed what I was going to do on this altar, because I woke up today and it just didn't feel right. So we're going to rummage through here and find some things that do feel right to use instead. Several minutes later, I have found a whole collection of crystals that I much prefer. So these are the ones that we are going to be putting on this altar. And already, it just looks so much better. I'm not sure what it was about the other stones that just wasn't working for me, but it was something. It was something and I didn't like it. So we've changed it, and now we're back on track. And then the last thing to do on this altar is to light some incense and to light the candle. Now I have a little drawer down here that's got all of my charcoal discs in it. So we're going to be using some standard charcoal discs and a lighter, standard tea light, nothing fancy, nothing like that. And a pair of charcoal tongs, because charcoal gets ridiculously hot and I do not want to burn myself, because believe me, if you burn yourself on charcoal, you never ever want to do it again. So for anyone that doesn't frequently use charcoal, it comes in packs like this. They have 10 charcoal discs in them usually, and it's really, really messy. So my fingers are going to be black by the end of this. So we want to get one of these out as cleanly as we can. And that is a charcoal disc, which goes in a charcoal burner. Now, for those wondering, there is a coaster underneath this incense burner, because I know from experience that it gets really, really hot down here. And because this is a carved, pyrographied altar table, I really don't want to burn the wood. So we have a coaster underneath the incense burner just to stop that from happening. I changed my mind slightly. I actually have a little bottle of Brigid oil, which is infused with herb. So I'm actually going to take a bit of this and I'm going to put it on my finger and I'm going to put it on the candle, because that is how I do these things. So we're just going to dress the candle with the Brigid oil. Nothing fancy, just a bit of the oil. And then we're going to light the candle. I always forget that I have this oil because my Brigid altar is currently not set up. So we're going to drop this back in here. And now we're going to light the tea light. There we go. And drop it into said tea light holder. Take your charcoal tongs and you're going to want to hold onto the charcoal. Now this is cold, so I can pick it up. Do not pick it up if it's hot. And we're going to hold it over the tea light. So you see it pop and crackle and smoke. You see that? And then once it's doing that, we're going to hold it for a couple of minutes. And then we're going to drop it onto the burner. And we're going to let it sit like that for a minute until it starts to go kind of grey. And once it starts going grey, then I'm going to put the incense on it. Now that the charcoal's gone kind of grey around the edge, we're going to take some loose incense. This is from Starchild, the Brigid incense. I actually have 2 of these. I'm not sure how I've ended up with 2 of them. I guess I must have forgotten that I had this one, and now I have a second one. But this incense is beautiful, and I only use it on my Brigid altar or around this time of year. So I'm so looking forward to using this. I'm only going to take a small pinch because you really don't need that much. And I'm only going to burn this quite infrequently. Once I've burned it for this video, I'm then going to switch this out for an incense warmer so that it doesn't produce any smoke but you still get the fragrance. I've done that on several different altar setups in the past if you do want to check that out. Essentially, I'll only burn the incense on very special occasions. The rest of the time, I will simply warm the incense so I get the fragrance without all of the smoke. Just going to put that on there. Just be careful though, because it is so hot. So here is the altar all set up. The incense is really chugging away over here. This will die down relatively quickly. It's just going to smolder for a while once the main body of the smoke is gone. And then once that's done, I will just let the charcoal calm down, let it cool down completely, and then I will dispose of it accordingly, and I'll just switch it out for a standard incense warmer because they're just way easier to deal with. Let's start back to front. I think that's the appropriate way to do it. So right at the back here is an art print. This is something I've been working on for the last 4 or 5 days, basically non-stop. So that has been my project for the past week, is to get this finished, and I'm so happy with it. It's got a little fox in a grove of trees all sleeping, and it's so cute. So I finally got this one finished because I really wanted it for this altar, and I did it on time. Yes! And then at the back we have 2 different statues. We have my hare statue. This one I use to represent the growth of spring and all of the new life, new abundance. So I really like using hares at this time of year for that particular purpose. And although technically we are not yet in spring properly, I have noticed, especially where I am in England, it's gotten a lot brighter, a lot lighter, a lot airier. A lot of the heaviness of winter has gone a little bit. The birds are more awake, the flowers are more awake. So I'm finding that it's a really appropriate time of year to start bringing out the hare imagery. On the far side, we have my golden goddess statue because she does represent Brigid, and I do actually have a smaller version that goes on my Brigid altar, but I decided I was going to bring out the big guns. We're going to have the big golden goddess statue, and in her stomach is a clear quartz sphere. It's probably my favourite sphere of them all, so I always find myself using this one. We then have my hearth doll. This is on every single one of my altars because this is her home. She is a protection doll, and so she stays here all the time. If you've been on my channel before and you've seen these videos before, you will likely already know that. In the middle, we have 2 pieces of ceramic. Both of these are from Starchild. This one is their incense burner small, and then we have the small pentacle offering candle dish. I love using these 2 together when I'm working with solar energy, when I'm working with Brigid. I really like working with these 2, and they go really well together, and they're just really cute. This one's really good as well for ritual work and spell work because it does have a pentacle actually carved into the bottom of the tea light holder. So if you really want to add an extra bit of oomph into your workings, you can work with that as well. And then on this, as mentioned, is my Brigid incense and Brigid oil, which I primarily use on my Brigid altar, but because it is Imbolc, it's Brigid's festival, we're going to be bringing it onto this altar for this season as well. We then have a collection of crystals dotted around. We have some sardonyx, some green aventurine, we have some aquamarine, some smoky citrine, some epidote, and then we also have some heat-treated amethyst, which is what a lot of people do sell as citrine. Now, I know that a lot of people don't like heat-treated amethyst in their practice, and if you don't, then that's fine. For me personally, I've been working with heat-treated amethyst for a very long time, and I find that I have great results from it, and so I will continue to use it. It's entirely up to you what you want to do in your own personal practice. And then we have some cards. Now, these are the cards that I picked out earlier. We have the Forest Sister card, which comes from the Forest Fae deck. And then we have 2 cards from the Mists of Avalon deck. We have the Brigid card, which obviously had to be on an Imbolc altar. And then we have the White Heart card, which represents new beginnings, new growth, reflection, perspective, all of those things. So that had to be on here as well. And then we have a wand. Now, this wand has not ever been on this altar, I don't think. If it has, it's been a very long time. This is my solar wand that goes on my Brigid altar. And when I got the crystals out earlier and I found that it just wasn't working, the energy just wasn't working, I knew exactly which wand I had to bring out. This one I got a good few years ago now. It has a heat-treated amethyst on the top. It has the solar symbol, the alchemical symbol for the sun there. And then it's filled with herbs that relate to solar energy and all of that good stuff. Now, because this has been sitting on an altar in a very bright light space for a good few years now, it's kind of faded. It isn't the colour it used to be. These used to be very vivid bay leaves and rosemary and sunflower, and now it just kind of looks grey. But if anything, I kind of like that because it only goes to show that this is a solar wand and it has been sitting and soaking in solar energy. And so for what I wanted to manifest, which was all about new beginnings, new development, growth, new life, as well as the representations for Imbolc, I felt like it all really worked well together. So that is my completed altar, and it's very different than what I had in my head last night when I was planning this. I was not expecting it to turn out like this. I was expecting there to be way more purple, way more things related to Imbolc, and it's ultimately become a Brigid, solar, new beginnings kind of thing. But you know what, I'm okay with that, and altars need to be flexible, and this definitely changed over time. So that is the altar all set up, and I'm so happy with it. It took a bit longer than it usually would. Actually, it took a lot longer than it usually would. If you're watching this the day I put it up, you're going to realize that this is actually a few days late. I was meant to put this up on Wednesday. I'm currently filming this on Thursday, and I have no idea when it's actually going to go up. And that's because I was determined. I wanted to finish the artwork for this altar before I did the altar. And it took way longer than I thought it would, which, let's face it, is always the case. If you think something is going to take you 2 hours, it will take you 6. If you think something is going to take you 1 evening, it's going to take you a week and a half. And that's what I found with this piece of art. I have been slowly working on it for a really long time, but I was determined to get it finished. And it took me so long. It's still not perfect. The colouring on it isn't quite right. I think that's my printer's fault. I really need to do something about that. But that took me so long, which is why this altar is delayed, because I really wanted to finish this piece of artwork before I put it on the altar. So it's now finished, it's up. I'm so happy with it. I just think it looks really cute. I love the little fox. It's like my favourite thing on the altar this season. And then everything else is kind of things that we've seen before in a slightly different way. And I did have a bit of a mishap in the middle. And I know I mentioned it in the main setup portion of this video, but not all of my altars are set up in one go. And often I will do trial and error before I set up the altar, just to test things out and see what works and see what doesn't. And when I picked out the crystals for this altar, I did it at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was determined. I really wanted the crystals for Imbolc to go on this altar. I wanted that to be the Imbolc thing. And then when I put them on the altar, I realized I really didn't like the energy. I didn't like how it felt. I didn't like how it looked. There was something about it that was just not right. It wasn't working for me. So I just took all the crystals off, replaced it with a whole new set of crystals, replaced the wand with my solar wand, and just called it, because sometimes not all altars are going to be set up perfectly in one go. And as much as I would like to say that they do get set up in one go, they really don't. So the altars that you see on social media, the altars that you see on YouTube, they've probably taken ages and lots of trial and error to put them together, and it looks so effortless on YouTube or on Instagram, but they really aren't. They do take time. So if you're struggling with your altar, I feel you. I had that struggle today. So I switched it all around a little bit. I changed the wand out and I absolutely love it. And I think it all comes down to the Brigid artwork on that oracle card. It's so fiery that when I put the purple on the altar, it just didn't look right. So we've got the fox, which is quite fiery, and we've got the Brigid oracle card, which is really fiery as well. And then we've got the pale ceramic, and by the end, purple just didn't look right. Purple just didn't look right. So we had a bit of a rejig. And I think that's just something to bear in mind, is that altars take time. And even for me, I've been working on this altar for a week and a half now, and I only just got it finished. And also, some things are last minute additions. I wasn't going to add the oil, and then I did it at the last minute, and these things just kind of happen. So this video has probably been an entire jumbled mess, but I hope that you did enjoy it. I actually really enjoyed filming it because it showed different things that I've ever showed before. I don't think I've ever shown how I choose my oracle cards for the videos, so that is how I do it. It's very boring, but I hope that you enjoyed it nonetheless, and I hope that you did enjoy this video. Have you set up an Imbolc altar? Are you going to? What are you going to add on it? Let me know, because I love knowing what other people are going to be doing. And also in my Discord, which is linked in the description box, we have a section for Sabbat altars where you can post photos and see photos of Sabbat altars from anyone who wants to share their Sabbat altar, so you can get inspiration from there as well. So all in all, I hope that you did enjoy this video. If you did, feel free to give it a like. It really means so much to me. It lets me know which videos you like and which ones you don't like. If you do have any questions, comments, concerns, video ideas, feel free to let me know down in the comment section. And if you do enjoy the magical content on this channel in this video, feel free to hit subscribe. I try my best with magical content every single week. Wow, I almost didn't manage to finish that sentence. A massive thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Your names will be on the end screen in just a moment. I hope you have a marvellous, magical day. I hope you're all staying safe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! Bzz. Bzz. They're so... I know that there's two cards there. I know it, but I can't get them to separate. How much shadow am I gonna cast? Oh no! I cast a lot of shadow. Ah! These are the hardest videos to film. What about now? Oh, now it's worse. How is it worse? Oh, now you can just see my entire head silhouetted in the picture. Eh? Better? I don't like this light though, it's the wrong colour. I wanted something warmer. Oh, now you can see my you can see my weak jaw. No, we're not doing this. Moving this over here. Come on. Please. Please. No. No. Okay. What about over here? Now we're even dark. You wouldn't believe. It's the middle of the day. Can you believe that? With how dark it is in here? It's the middle of the day. Well, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That counts though, right? That counts. Ow, box. Come on. Shadow's so bad. What about now? Oh, it's still bad. I need to not to be here. Because it's fine until I knock my little Venus of Willendorf off. Please stay. I think that's as good as it's gonna get. Did this take me way too long? Yes. Okay. I just filmed 2 videos back to back. Who is she? I don't know. What is happening? I'm confused. I never managed to do 2 videos back to back because I always fudge it up. But I didn't. Well, I don't think I did. I might come to edit it and realize that something's not right. My microphone didn't work. The color's all wrong. I don't know. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen. Touch wood. That doesn't happen. I'm so shocked. It might be because I filmed the first bit in the workshop early. It's now pitch black, by the way. I've been filming all day. So I started in the workshop earlier on my new worktop. Oh, I'm so happy with it. It's not finished, but it's fine. I managed to make it work. It's so bright and sunny in there. And I messed up the talking on the Oracle card picking about 15 times. And I think all of those mistakes earlier stopped me from making a bunch of mistakes now. I even filmed a video without a script. Who is she? You won't see that video though till probably like next week. I filmed an entire video without a script. I have no idea what's going on. I don't know what came over me. I am just on a roll. It might be because I'm slightly hyper. So I'm gonna go and chill and eat some food because I'm so hungry. And I will talk to you next time. Okay. Bye.